I'll show you how to go from this to this. From the outside, and this is the one that I haven't really done anything about. And now for the one that I've already done. So this is for this car. I'll show you how it could be taken off, but most car will be slightly different than that one. So see other YouTube videos how your particular model can be taken off. So for my particular model of car, I use this too. So basically I'll just slightly get behind there and unclip it. There we go, this unclipped. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's plastic on plastic, and this still bangs on. Doesn't matter. This is plastic on plastic as well. Most cars, a lot of cars are like that. And you can see, you can appreciate how this is complete, absolute plastic on plastic. And no matter how tight you do it, this will always bang on. It will be really quite noisy. Next thing is really this kind of Christmas, stick it behind and just undo it, hold it with the finger so it doesn't really disappear. There we go, this came out. This is how this stupid Christmas fur type fastener looks like. Here's the actual door. I've removed all these fir trees. There is a catch, one of these catches behind, so one has to kind of pull slightly hard there. There we go. And it's actually, the whole thing is removed. And this is how it's really inside. But the whole thing is completely plastic. Here are these fir tree things that clip. Basically they clip on here. It's just basically plastic on plastic, nothing else. This is just a tin, it's not insulated anywhere. Okay, there is a void there to store stuff, so I'll put some insulation inside there, sound insulation as well, so to deaden the sound a bit. But you can see how this really bangs on completely. So next thing is this whole thing to insulate it. So here are the tools that I'm going to be using to quieten this door. Of course, first is tools for taking the trim off. I've had this for quite a while and they're pretty battered, and I've lost the original box because it's just fused in too much and this broke down. But they have stood the time and they're pretty good. All sorts of, it's quite a comprehensive tool set. You can find all the components in the description of the video. Next thing, the really crucial thing is this felt tape. And I've had this felt tape for quite a while now. I'm filming this tools part of the video a year after I filmed the whole video, so this is a bit battered. But here is the felt tape. It's quite a velvety. It's pretty soft, and it's called a felt tape, anti-rattle tape, anti-squeak tape, whatever you want to call it. Is pretty much everything. Basically, it's you peel it off, and mine is not too sticky, but it's quite sticky. I mean, you can see, probably you can see it's quite sticky. You cut it. Apply it. I mean, I'm not too sure if it can be seen, but it's like felt. Basically, it's a felt tape, and this is amazing tape. I really have used this everywhere. The next thing I'm gonna be using is this. It's called door sealant, and I believe it's EPDM, but it's basically pretty soft material. You peel it off. It's one side, and then it's extremely sticky as well. This will dampen quite a lot of vibration. You can apply it everywhere. I mean, of course, good scissors, that will be crucial for cutting all these pieces and applying them wherever you want to apply them, where it's squeaking and rattling. One last thing is this butyl tape. It looks like this, and it's pretty kind of bizarre looking tape, and I've had this for quite a while. It's actually quite good. and sticky as hell. It's still sticky, and I've had this for 1 year. I mean, you can see how sticky it is. I can't get my finger off it. So if you have membranes on the door, if you want to re-stick, this is really the material to use. This is pretty thick material. You basically cut a piece, and then I would cut it lengthwise. You don't need to use this, but in case you want to do it, I'll cut it lengthwise, and then you can of course just with fingers stretch it, and it stretches quite well, and of course it sticks. I mean, you see how it sticks to my finger. And to stick any membranes that you have on the door, this is really the kind of the material to use, and it's quite stretchy. It's pliable, and that's quite good. I mean, I really spent quite a bit of time to find this material. I mean, you don't need to use this buteo cord. I'm not too sure. I think in the description I think it's called buteo cord, because on the inside of the door there is a membrane, but the glue there is still tacky, still sticking. But if yours is not, you can reuse that one to stick. It's from -40 to +90 degrees, so it's pretty good. So the last thing I'm gonna show is this Noico 2mm 3/4 square meters. I think it's called Noico 80 sound deadening. It looks like this. So the Noico, this is 2mm thickness, it's called Noico 80. It's quite soft, and it's got like aluminium on side, and it's sticky underneath. It's quite malleable, it's quite pliable. It's got a few of these dimples that you need some sort of a tool to go along, like a roller, to go along and flatten these, to kind of spread and to remove all bubbles or anything. I mean, I can cut a small piece just to show you how it works with just scissors. It's nothing really complicated. It's quite malleable, and you can flex it. And I have a small metal plate. Basically, you peel it. It's really the best thing is to heat it up slightly, either under a light or something, or to do this in a warmer weather, because in the colder weather it's not as pliable. So basically you put it in, stick it on that, and then with the roller you kind of apply that until these kind of square patterns, the square pattern kind of disappears and is quite flat. I mean, it's something like that. I haven't done it perfect, but that's quite good. I mean, because I'm holding it with one hand on the car, I mean, the car will support it. So I do something like that, and this is quite will stick there, will sound deaden quite the car. I mean, currently it will be easy to remove, but in general, once it's there, I've had it on one of these metals for testing purposes, and you can't really. It's very difficult to remove. You have to apply heat in order to remove it. Currently it's quite easy because, I mean, I've just applied it and it's fairly cold currently at the moment. I mean, the Noico 80 is pretty heavy. This is for 3.4 square meters. And I'm not too sure, but it's about 5, 6, 7 kilos. So it is quite heavy, so you have to take into consideration. But for small pieces, not too crucial. So this is the whole door from the inside. This is a felt tape, as I described earlier. It's amazing stuff. So what I'll do on all inside sides, I'll cover this with felt tape, and this foamy stuff I'll really put on the edge everywhere around, so it doesn't really dampen the sound and doesn't really bang on the metal. Also here I'll put from this sound deadening piece, so it doesn't really, this plasticky sound just kind of to disappear, the very plasticky sound. First of all, I need to really clean it with methylated spirit or isopropyl alcohol with some alcohol everywhere. We're gonna stick the tape, so there is no fat and different dirt to disappear. So for a hole like this, I'll cut a small piece on that side, and I'll cut it lengthwise. Apply it like that, and then push your finger inside, and there is the hole, and this is covered. And the next part, there you go, the hole is covered, same as that one. Last thing is this really plastic clip. You can see how noisy it is. The easiest way is really to put one of these, cut it, and then cut it towards the middle. Stick it like that. Of course, you can actually push it inside with a bit of a finger or something else. Well, scissors would also work, and you can stick this on. And this actually doesn't move at all actually anymore. And this is the final product, and this is how it should have been done probably. So anywhere where the plastic touches the metal, I've put this felt tape. It's pretty much everywhere. On the bolts as well. Where else? Let me turn it around. On these that the screws go on any plastic. So I've covered this that rests on it. Around the door handle, around these plastics, and pretty much everywhere where the kind of the plastic touches the metal. So one more thing, so I've used this sound deadening on here, so it will kind of reduce the plastic. So if I turn it around and probably just bang on it, you don't get this plasticky sound anymore, so it's quite a bit deadened, because I notice here where it clicks a lot more. So basically you have to find where it clicks, and I've just put one sheet of this deadening material. And what it really looks extremely professional, and that's how they should have done it. It's actually this rubber edge here. So well, it's not quite rubber. I think it's EPDM, but it might be something else. It's a kind of a foamy material. You can't really notice it on the camera. So this kind of edge, so you can probably see it how it's slightly raised. This kind of edge here. So this what the trim will stand on. So this is actually quite crucial. So if you look at it, that side, so this is actually the material. You cannot really, from the other side, you cannot really notice anything. I mean, there's nothing that can be seen. I mean, you can see the whole thing, but this will really extremely dampen it, and even if the car goes on any bumps, this will really dampen any vibrations, so it won't hit you, won't really hear any banging on the plastic, on the metal. To be honest, that's how they should have done it, but I suspect it takes some time to do, and costs a bit of money, so they really haven't done it. So in addition, this was the plastic kind of cover that you can rest your hand on. So this is really banging a lot. So what I've done, I've also put this foamy edge on the side here, so it will really rest, and then I've put this felt tape pretty much anywhere that it touches. It's fairly quick and to do it. This took a bit of time because you have to align it so you can't see it from that side. So it kind of rests. I'll show you now how it rests. This one I've also put a bit of, I mean, these I cannot really cover with anything, so these will be like that. So there is a bit of a plastic touching on plastic, but hopefully this will shorten the distance so it won't really bang. Basically, you clip that on, and then that's the actual door, and you put it like that. So basically that foam edge here will rest on the plastic, so it really will dampen everything. I mean, let me, I mean, I have to screw it, but it's really quiet, but I have to screw it in order to show you how this doesn't really bang plastic on plastic. So this is from the interior of the door, so I really want to soundproof it as well a bit more. I mean, this is just a membrane, it's for condensation and so on, not to come in. So behind is just the metal from the door, so I have to really take this off fairly carefully with one of these, because then I'll put it back on, I'll sound dead underneath. So it's a rather careful exercise where it's fairly sticky material. That's not hardened. I don't know what they use, what the manufacturers use to seal this, but it's actually a pretty good material, so you can reuse a lot of time. So it's peel it slightly off, well, somewhere where you can start, probably on top if I can, and then slightly cut it until you kind of start to peel it off. So I only peel it up to here, up to the bottom, and then turn it upside so I can actually sound deaden inside. It's fairly easy material to work with. So I peeled it off all around, and this is really amazing what this glue that we're using. You see my finger is still sticking, and that's actually pretty amazing glue. You can re-stick it back and it will be actually pretty amazing. This is the actual metal. They do have two pieces here that they've put, the manufacturers. It goes up about here, goes about there actually. Two pieces that they've used, probably just not to sound too tinny. You can hear the difference, but what I would like to do is really put a lot of sound insulation and just cover a bit that one as well, maybe a bit in between. I cannot really go up high because, well, I cannot reach, so I'll really put a piece as well here just to soundproof that one. Potentially a piece underneath just to sound deaden this one, or just soundproof it, because this is the only soundproof insulation, and potentially that thing a bit here. So I've cleaned it with methylated spirit, and I've already cut a piece from the Noico sound deadening and soundproofing insulation. This is really quite cool material, but it's a bit cold outside, so I'm gonna stick it like that and then cover it over with the mallet until these dimples here disappear. So basically just going over it. Unfortunately down under I cannot quite put the tool, so it will be with fingers trying to flatten it. So this material actually is better to be heated, and it's quite cold now, so it's not that malleable. I mean, it's fairly flexible, but it's nicer to be warm, so I'll put it underneath the lamp that I'm using to film my videos, so kind of to warm it up a bit. There we go. Next bit is to peel it off. And just stick it on. It's very sticky. I mean, you can see my finger doesn't really want to take it off, so doesn't want to really take off my finger, but so one has to be quite careful. Let's see how this will go. So I want to put it somewhere underneath here, these plastic bits and pieces, not to cover them. And so this is how it is in there in the void. This is how it is. So next thing is really to apply the mallet. When I say mallet, I didn't mean mallet, I meant kind of a roller bar, this roller bar. So I really start on top and apply it until it kind of the dimples flatten, and this might take me quite a while. And this is how it looks. I couldn't really reach quite down. My mallet kind of stops up there and you can't really grip it, but I did a fairly good job. And down at the bottom I've only used kind of fingernails, and it couldn't quite flatten it, but that will be quite good. I mean, there is some additional stuff, but yeah, down at the bottom it's a bit more difficult. It would have been easy if the manufacturer had done it originally, but otherwise it's let me zoom in. I mean, this is pretty flat down here. I mean, down there is not quite flat, so I try to do it with fingernails, but that's not quite achievable. I'll do the rest and then show how it looks like. I've covered this all around here, and these I managed to flatten pretty well. Yeah, there are a few marks from the tool, but that's not really too bad. So I've stuck it nearly to the top, and you can hear how it sounds now. It's pretty quite dead. This one was also quite thingy, this one. So I've stuck a small piece here, a small piece here, and one underneath as well, actually, from there to there. So now the sound actually of this piece, that's how it's not. Let me move this away. It's actually pretty soft. It wasn't that thingy before. So next thing is really to fit this, and it's pretty simple actually. And that's pretty simple. Basically, I have to just push it inside like that, and I'll start from the top. Just match it. Match it where it's supposed to go. And now I'll actually just stick it. That's it, almost as new. Like also two pieces here, just so that the door doesn't really hang on there, so it's a bit of a deadening sound there. So I didn't really wanna. It's some cover for dampness and so on. So on the door, I also really added a small piece here, and one day I added just to deaden this a bit, not to be really so plasticky. Next thing is really to fit the door, which is actually fairly easy. One just needs some sort of a tube to lift the seal. Seal lifted, and basically it's just to push that thing here. There is a pin. There we go. That clicked. Next thing is the two bolts, and then the rest of the first three fasteners. Next thing is fitting that with the seal. And you can appreciate how the sound is now. There's really no sound whatsoever. It's like that. Next thing is that cover. It's basically a push fit. Let's see how this sounds. Move the camera a bit. Perfect. Really like deadened, like doesn't really shake it out, doesn't produce any sound. That's how it was supposed to be, this car actually. Let me have a bit of a zoom so you can actually appreciate that the seal is quite there. You can't quite see it, this seal. That the foamy type seal, you can't even see it. Here there is no seal that you can see. Same as that side, but there is no light. I mean, in any of the openings you cannot really see anything. It's like professional. That's how it should have been actually done. This car should have been really done this way. Next thing is really this fur type things. Here's the fur type thing. I mean, I can reuse these because I'm thinking of slightly different thing there. You can reuse or get the new ones. Basically reuse those. Basically just push it until it's secure, and now for the rest of them. Now that's the end result. I mean, it's basically the same door. There is not really that much difference, but let's see about the sound test. And I'm really hitting this, and my fingers of course produce some sound. And I've put a piece here and a piece here. You cannot really hear anything. It's absolute silence. This will never bang, and even in the biggest potholes, and this is amazing for almost no effort whatsoever. So let's see how it's outside actually, the sound. So this is really the door outside, so let's see how this sounds. This is amazingly perfect. It's like dead sound, like slightly deadened. It doesn't really bang on tin at all. So here is the difference between the front door, which I haven't really done anything. You can appreciate the difference, and that's it. This door is absolutely perfect now. It hasn't taken me that long. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and there will be more to come. Please subscribe. Let me know for any advice or any comments in the comment section. Thank you very much indeed for watching. See you soon.